Today is part 3 of our How to Be a Broker class series. So tonight we're going to be going over how you market yourself as a broker. First thing about this class, if you haven't taken my other one, we find that it is best that you take physical notes. The act of writing those notes, even if you'll never read them again, will help you retain the information and ultimately use it in your business. This is about making money, guys. So it's a good idea to try to hear out what we have to share with you tonight. All right, so who are we? Always Capital is a private lending fund and brokerage shop. We have our own capital that we lend out on deals. We also have capital partners that we will go to for things that are outside of our lending box. And ultimately, we can fund the majority of the deals that real estate investors find themselves running into. We lend nationwide. We're pretty quick, usually 1 to 2 business days to get you a quote or a term sheet. How fast we close, this is a real number, not the kind you see marketed. It's however long it takes to get the appraisal report, plus about 10 days. And that'll get us closed in most of the country. We are not a bank. The stuff we fund, most banks can't touch. All right, so we've covered this in the first couple of classes, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. But being a broker for capital is very simple. Somebody in your network has a deal, they need a loan to get that deal funded. You're going to pre-qualify them and send them over to us. That really just means you fill out a form on our website. There's not much more to it than that. We take over from there, do all the work to collect all the documents, underwrite the deal, and ultimately get them the loan. When that loan closes, you get paid. We'll contact you for payment information the first time around, and after that, we won't bother calling you. We'll just send you an ACH. All right, so tonight we're going to dive into the marketing. And this, guys, is after 7 years of doing this, we've found this particular campaign to be the single most effective way of generating valid borrower leads. It's essentially a weaponized version of what JJ has been teaching you guys in the networking group all along. This is very highly intentional and designed to get you to a close as fast as possible, but it follows all the same principles that he teaches you. So we're going to chase a relationship, not a deal. If you run out there and start saying you can broker money, congratulations. You're one of about 20, 30,000 people that are doing that. That's not impressive. It's not a unique selling proposition. So you'll get drowned out in the noise of the market. If we trace a relationship first, we're building relationships with people that we're going to do long-term business with. They're going to be repeat clients, and we'll be building our businesses together and our wealth over years to come. Like JJ mentioned, we knew each other for years before we started an actual partnership or doing any kind of financial business together. We can do that a little faster and more intentionally with most people, but we're definitely looking for those long-term relationships. One-offs are simply not worth that much to us. The system you're about to learn is the most effective method we found in doing this, short of going to live events, which has a higher inherent cost. You got to pay for the travel, the hotel, and whatever, and tickets to wherever you're going. That does outperform this, but this is your number one online for free method. All right, we got 4 steps. So it's not a very complicated system. Not going to take you an exceptional amount of time to get it, but write these down. Step 1 is we got to spot active prospects, people who should be in a position where they need a loan, where they need financing. So obviously, anybody who posts about a deal or asks for funding, they're looking for a business partner, so on and so forth, that is somebody with a potential transaction. So that's an easy active prospect. We can identify investors who've engaged with our competitors. You'll see lots of people posting that they can lend money and that kind of thing. Look at the comments on those posts. You'll have people asking questions like, can you do a loan for this? Or what are the terms? And all that kind of stuff. Every one of those people who ask those questions is a potential lead to you. This also works on deal updates. If you have somebody who posts about, hey, we just put the kitchen in our rehab, or we just, got our Airbnb up and running, whatever it's going to be. People doing deals tend to do multiple deals, and their friends are doing deals. Basically, the winners stick together. So once you meet one of them, you'll have an easy time meeting the others. So first, you got to find these folks. Easiest way to do this, most of you are probably already using Facebook. So you're in lots of Facebook groups, your friends list. friends of friends, your standard wall. It works on Instagram if you're dialed into the right networks. Same thing on LinkedIn, and also communities on X if you are a Twitter guy or gal. So every social media network, you can find people who are doing this stuff. You just got to dial in a bit to real estate specifically. It's a big world. All right, step 2, we're going to establish our presence with them. Presumably, you don't already know these people. We're going to like or react to their post or comment. Like JJ says, at least on Facebook, there's no real value in doing the thumbs up. You want to hold that button in and choose one of the reacts, give them a happy, a laugh, or a wow. Then we're going to leave a thoughtful comment or GIF image that makes sense. It depends on what you're responding to. Say something intelligent, be a human. This isn't quite Ford stuff. You're responding based on what they say. So if they're posting an update about their rehab, you might say, wow, that kitchen looks really cool. How many deals have you done like this? Something like that. Like, I like asking questions because they encourage further engagement. Then you're going to wait. You wait 1 to 2 days, because when we engage with people, what a lot of them are going to do is check you out. Who are you? Who are your friends? What does your profile look like? And this is where I hope you guys are paying attention to JJ, who teaches you all this stuff for free. What do you have on your profile? Presumably, if you're trying to be a broker, you have stuff on there about lending money. So they can go check it out and figure out who you are. We don't need to hide it. We make it really obvious in our cover photo with posts and market updates on our wall, all kinds of stuff like that. So you give them 2 days, 1 or 2 days, to check you out. Then we send them a friend request or follow them, whatever the platform calls for. On Facebook, we'll friend request. On Instagram and X, we follow. All right, step 3, we're going to show authentic interest. We're going to send them a direct message or personal message. It's going to be something conversational. You are not going to send them, hey, I can give you a loan. Do you want it? Don't do this. That's amateur hour. You're going to start by just starting a conversation. It's an icebreaker. We're after the relationship. Like JJ says, we want their friendship. Hey, whoever you are, loved your update in whatever group on the property you just put under contract. What's your timeline looking like for this deal? Ask something about the relevant post or whatever you interacted with them on. Here's a couple examples. Saw your post on whatever about a fix and flip loan. What's your latest project? Hi, whoever you are. Notice comment on somebody else's update on hard money rates. Curious, what's your current deal looking like? All right, so we're just starting the conversation. That's step 3, nice and simple. Now, what you may want to do if they didn't accept your friend request yet, before you send the direct message, you may also want to respond to their comment or your comment on theirs, tagging them and letting them know that you sent them a DM. Otherwise, they may miss it. It might end up in a possibly spam folder. So you just send them a little message saying, hey, check it out. All right, step 4, we find that when you send those direct messages, if your context was right, if you responded like a human instead of a robot, we get a response about 30 to 50% of the time. So it's a fairly high response rate from a marketing standpoint. It works very, very well. When they respond, whatever they say, you're going to respond with a video or audio recording. Don't just send them text back. You take 30 to 90 seconds and you're going to custom record every single one. If you try to make a generic one, the success rate will drop dramatically. When I make this little video or audio, I always say their name so they know I made it just for them. And again, 30 to 90 seconds. The total amount of time that I'm spending on this process from beginning to end is maybe 5 to 10 minutes. It's a very, very quick process. In that 30 to 90 seconds, I'm going to focus on how I'm a private mortgage broker and that we're happy to help them with their deal by providing a quote, also called a term sheet. All right. I will also take the context that they gave me. So they responded to whatever I said to them before, and I'll make sure I address that. It's like having a live conversation with somebody. They said the thing, consider it a prompt, and then spend the next 30 to 90 seconds responding to that in video or audio format. We find that the video and or audio has a significantly higher response rate than sending them a text back. If they give you a positive response to that, book a 15-minute call to get to know them. And while you're on the call, you can grab the details of any deal they're doing and send it over to Always Capital for quoting. That's it. That's your entire system. So, step one, identify a prospect. Somebody who has a deal, is looking for a deal, has expressed interest in a deal. Step two, we show genuine interest. You're going to go ahead and like and comment on whatever post they make or whatever you noticed. And then you're going to wait a day or two, your choice. You can vary it up before sending them a friend request and then a private message. Step three is the private message. Ask them about their deal or their business or what they're into in real estate. So you can keep it real estate specific. It's the O in Ford that we care about at this point. If they respond to that, which we see between a third and half the time, you're going to record a quick video or audio and send that over to them as a direct response. And when they answer that video or audio, that's when you're going to go ahead and get the details, set up a phone call. And when you're getting to know them, you can grab the details of their deal and send them out a term sheet. The close rate, meaning the chances of you getting to make a quote to somebody who gets on the call with you, are at least 50%. So if you do all the math on this, you should be able to get a quote out in about 1 in 4 times that you follow this process. All right, I've had this in every class, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. You guys can absolutely see the recording of it where I went over in greater detail. Basically, don't do shady stuff. Just follow the rules, be honest. Don't promise we can do things we can't do. And if somebody trusts you with their information, keep it private. All right? To sign up as a broker with Always Capital, you guys can head over to alwayscapitalllc.com/broker. You'll also find replays of these classes on that page. All right. And that is our marketing plan for being a broker. Super simple to follow. Go ahead, Bob.
I'm going to add in one more quick thing. So when you guys are sending messages to folks on either Instagram or Facebook, if you're not friends with that person, sometimes those messages end up in like an other folder or a messages request folder, and they won't be seen. Even if you send them a friend request, unless they accept the friend request, they still may not see those messages. So if you are messaging anybody that you're not directly connected to or friends with or follow, or you're connected in the way that whatever that platform is, you do just want to make sure to let them know, hey, be sure to double check there that you did send them a message there. Sometimes it gets lost there. I know probably about once a week I have 3 or 4 messages that end up there from folks that I don't even though I know it's there, I don't always remember to check there. So when someone reminds me, it's usually a good reason too.
I was gonna say I had a weird thing happen. Actually, I was DMing Brian, and it went from like there were 2 DM windows, and one was secure and one was unsecure. I just never saw that happen before. If you guys experienced that, and is that something new with Facebook? And does that make it difficult to message people in the future?
There's essentially 2 functionalities of Facebook Messenger. Secure messaging is supposed to be end-to-end encrypted. I take that with a grain of salt. I wouldn't actually believe it, to be honest, but that's what they say anyways. And then there's regular messaging, which is not necessarily end-to-end encrypted, which means presumably someone could intercept your message and read what's inside of it. For the purposes of what you're doing, it shouldn't really make much of a difference. I believe there's when you are messaging with somebody, there's a functionality to swap in between secure and not secure. I forget. I think it's like a swipe up there's a swipe certain direction. It'll turn it on or off. It doesn't matter much in terms of messaging as long as you can message with them there. That's the most important part.
It's not going to hurt you. It's just they're always changing it. For us as marketers, I really only care that it gets to people's notice. Right. That's why I said if you're not friends with them, if they haven't accepted your friend request, then when you send this cold DM, they turn this functionality on and off. Sometimes you can't message them at all unless you're friends. It depends. It varies. It's not the same every week.
And it's not the same per person. Each individual can also choose specific settings on their side that could prevent you from messaging them.
Correct.
Does that answer your question, Damien?
Yes. Yep.
Cool.
Thank you.
Cool. And I'd like to add to that a little bit, guys. And what I'd like to add is that a lot of people will accept a friend request just because you send it to them. So if you want to create dialogue with some people that Bob says you may not be friends with right away, go ahead, send them a friend request. Sometimes you can also send a very short message to just introduce yourself. Hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm in step 2. I'm in Gator. and sometimes because people get so many friend requests, even if they accept it, you need to send them in your message, say, I've sent you a friend request, please look for it. I'd love to get acquainted. Here's my number. Can I get your number? That's just a polite little introduction. But once they accept that message, guys, what you could do is you could actually Facebook message them a introductory video. That's something I've been doing now lately, and I've been getting a lot more success at my interaction and my engagement. Bob, what do you think of that method?
Yeah, look, guys, this all works. What, why this process works, and by the way, we do this same thing. This is not something that's like, well, we're doing something different, but we're giving you guys the leftovers that we don't want to do. Like this process works. We have people that actively do this for us as well. The only difference between us and many of you guys is just our butts have been in your chairs for longer than yours have, so we have bigger networks to reach out to, and that. But this absolutely works in this capacity. And the more, like JJ says, the more that you make a personal connection with folks and you become their point of contact for the things that they need, in this case, money, which every investor needs at some point in time, the easier the conversations will go for you. The good thing for you guys is this: money is the easiest thing to sell. There is no investor in the history of real estate investing ever that didn't need more money to do more deals, right? Like we all need this. So the good thing is it's not a hard sell. It's just a matter of saying, who do I trust to make the connection for me, and who do I trust to actually get the deals closed?
And I'm going to just throw in there, guys, with that trust, it's frequently said that people trust people that are just like them. So by building the relationship, you can show people that you're just like them. People trust people that they know and like. Know, like, and trust. They're not going to trust you as much if they don't know as if they know you. And they cannot, as if they like you, but they can't like you if they do not know you. So in order for them to know you, you need to be visible on social media. You need to be visible to that person. They can't like you till they know you. They need to know you
100%.
so that they can like you, so they can trust you. It's about building the relationship. Bob, we have a couple questions. Do you want to take those?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually dive in. I want to answer this one first, just because it's going to be applicable to everybody, which is what Aaron asked about. Do we have an affiliate or white label link? Yes. So I want to walk you guys through the process to sign up for a broker. We're putting literally tonight. I'm putting the final touches on some of the pieces, and understand this is sort of in process. We're building things as we go here, but we do want to make sure things are done the right way. So. What's going to happen is this. If you head to the link that Bell put in chat and Brian said, which is the alwayscapitalllc.com/broker, you can fill out a simple forms, just your name, email, and phone. You just fill out that information right there. That lets us know that you'd like to become a broker. Sometime tomorrow, anyone who's filled out this form and anyone who does it moving forward, you'll be sent an e-signature from our CRM to sign our broker agreement. This just walks through the things that you're allowed to do, how we pay you, all that specifics. The most important thing that you need to know about that agreement is just this. Don't do stupid stuff that's illegal or spammy or scammy or grimy or weird, right? Think about this. If someone came to you and they were all grimy and weird and spammy and ugh, would you want to work with them? Probably not. So don't do those things, right? And there's a bunch of other things in there as well, but it just goes through all that. So you'll sign all of that. That'll let us know that, hey, you do want to become a broker. Once that form has been signed, my team at my agency will build for you a custom landing page. If you have a logo, we'll get with you to get like a logo or a picture of you or anything of that nature. We'll build for you a simple custom landing page um, that will tie anyone who submits a loan request to you. So we'll come in, we'll be able to say, okay, great. JJ sent this lead over, so we know how this works and we know to pay you when the loan closes. Now, this is an important deal. We only pay when a loan closes. At the point that the loan closes, then we'll reach out to you to get all of your payment information and all that. Until you have an actual loan ready to close and go, we don't worry about collecting the payment information. It's just, as you can imagine, we have a lot of folks that are requesting it. Not as many will always get us leads that close. And so we go from there. On average, we find that about every 1 out of every 10 loans requests that we get, so quotes that we send, actually end up closing. And sometimes it's just not a good deal. Numbers don't pencil. Something else happened in their life. They realize
Lots
they
of
don't want to
lots
do
of
that
people will
deal.
get a quote for the purpose of proof of funds. So the
Or
deal ends
that.
up
Yep.
not moving forward. That's probably the single most common reason it doesn't move forward.
Yep. So we'll get all that set up for you, get it to you. And what that unique link will do is allow you to send people over. And we don't rely on cookies or anything of that nature. We use what we call URL parameters to track sourcing. So this way, there's no, even if they've got cookies turned off or anything else you might have heard about, don't worry. The way that I build our systems is basically future proof from any of that stuff. So you'll get credit for the loan. And then one thing I do want to state that is important. Once you sign up and a customer comes in, that customer stays with you for every loan that they come to and get from us, so long as they do at least one loan every 2 years. There are some requirements that we have to have just to ensure that we're okay and that, because we have with our own funds, we're SEC registered and a bunch of other stuff like that, right? So as long as they can do one loan every 2 years, that contact will stay with you. And every loan that they do, you'll get paid on. So you might not even know that they submitted a loan, and all of a sudden a check shows up or an ACH shows up. You're like, oh, sweet. I just got paid and didn't even realize it. We also wanted to make sure that we have the right way for you guys to do this. It's all great to have a program, but if you have no idea how to go actually get people in and do it, it's not going to help you that much.
Kathleen, you're on with Brian and Bob. What's your question?
Hello, I know, just humor me. As they say, no questions is a dumb question. So I have been,
Hey, Kathleen, I would say there are no stupid questions, but there are a lot of inquisitive idiots. So go ahead. I'm just kidding.
well, I have been doing this since we're coming to the training since like day one, and I'm wondering, do you need me to sign up too? Because I felt like maybe because I've been coming, that maybe that I'm interested and I'm doing this also with some others. So yeah, do you understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no, it's a great question, Kathleen. Great question. I do need you to fill out that form because
Okay.
whoever fills out that form is who I'm going to send the agreement off to.
Okay.
Because collectively across all of our lists, we've got a reach of over 50,000 people. Not all 50,000 are interested in becoming brokers, so I only want to send it to those who actually care to work with us. So yeah,
Yeah.
please fill that out for me.
Yeah. I just didn't know if you had me written down in a
Yeah,
corner or something like that.
yeah. The only piece of paperwork we do up front is the broker agreement, which is just going to be an e-sign. You guys will click 3 buttons and you're done. It's going to be very, very simplistic. After that, when a loan is approaching closing and we're going to have to pay you, then we're going to need a W-9 and payment information, and we'll reach out and get that at that point. So that's fun, but we're not going to bother with this paperwork until it's time to pay you. So we got the e-sign version that Bob has set up, and we'll have out to you guys tomorrow. World's simplest, I think, is it 2-page document, Bob? It was not that long.
It's going to be a little bit longer than that. I had to make some modifications, but the signature, there's a signature and a couple of pieces of information you got to fill out, such as like your company name and information if we're paying your company or you for paying you. Other than that, it should take you less than 2 minutes to fill the whole thing out and e-sign it. So very simple.
Yolanda, you're on with Bob and Brian. What's your question?
Hi, thanks so much, guys. Brian, you had mentioned the rate sheet. Is the rate sheet always capital specific? And if so, how do we pull up the rate sheet?
The term that you'll hear used is term sheet. It's a quote, and it's by loan, and it can change daily. So there is no static one that we just put out there. It's the you submit the deal and we quote it out directly.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
And so actually, I want to expand on that just for a second, if I could. One of the questions you're going to receive from a lot of people as you start letting them know that you have the ability to broker money is, well, what are your rates? Like, what are your rates? What are your rates? It's always the same question. What are your rates? And here's the reality. We don't operate on here's our rates and come get a loan from us because we want to get the project across the finish line with the borrower. So a lot of things are going to impact the rate. How much money, do they actually need between the purchase price and like a rehab, or if it's a DSCR, what are they trying to do? What is their credit score? While I don't actually care if they have good credit or bad credit or where it falls, I do need to know where their score falls because it impacts the options and availability of money that we can bring. Our goal is not to say, hey, we do loans in this box, and if you don't fit, we don't work with you. Our option is to say, you need money. Let me find the best way to get the money for you that's going to fit the deal you're trying to do and you as a borrower. And it's going to accomplish the goal so that I have the highest probability of the loan actually closing. And this is a big difference between a lot of brokers out there, especially, particularly when they don't have their own money, right? We will always fund from our internal capital reserves first if we can, right? Obviously, we don't have infinite money. Like if I had that, we'd be in a different spot, right? You probably wouldn't be here on this call, let's be real. But we do have some money. So we always try to broker ours first. And if we can't do ours, then we find the next best source. And so, yeah, so you'll get that question. And the simple answer is just, hey, look, fill out the quote. We'll get you the best rate that we can for yours. And it also depends on time, right? Like, a lot of people think, oh, well, the Fed hasn't changed rates. Well, the Fed rate changes don't actually impact our fund rate very much because it's not based on the Fed rate. It's based on the Treasury,
SOFR.
the oh my God, I'm spacing on the stupid name of it.
10-year.
Thank you, 10-year. Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, so that's it. And then, by the way, the other thing is we understand because we were all four of us were investors before we started doing financing in this capacity. We understand that speed can kill deals or make deals. So our goal is always to have, once they give us all the information that we need for a quote, which is not very much, it's just basic stuff, right? We'll have a quote to them in 2 business days or less. In most cases, if they get the quote to us in the morning or the request to us in the morning, we'll have the quote out to them the same day. I can't always promise that, but we know that speed makes a difference in your deal, and we will do our best to get it to them as fast as possible.
When you start this conversation with people, it's going to be very organic and very natural. And then you're gonna have this ongoing thing, and you're gonna ask them the details for their deal. You can send them a website link and say, go ahead and put your deal in here. But now you're asking them to take an action for you. They've already taken multiple actions for you, including telling you all the details of their deal. So why don't you take that information and plug it into your own site? Right? This is what I covered on class 2. This is your hand holding. You collect all the necessary information we need to produce a quote. You put it into the form, and at that point, you don't have to do anything else. We're going to send that quote out. It'll all get taken care of. You can be involved or not involved as you want at that point, but you no longer have to do anything. So if you get in the habit of just sending somebody a link and say, hey, just put your details in here, your success rate's going to drop. It's going to have an effect. So when you've already started this process, you're building these relationships with people, just continue the human thing. They said they want your service. Awesome. Collect the necessary information and go ahead and drop it in the web form along with their contact info, and you're good to go. It has the same function whether you fill it out or they fill it out. And since you can control your behavior, I suggest you rely on it.
Travis, you're on with Bob and Brian. What's your question?
Hey guys, love all the thought you put into this with the marketing package and all, and leading us step by step here. On timing, once we get that email from you, the e-sign, will we immediately then have the password and be able to use the interactive broker platform? Because I I went through that and got to that stage where it needed a password. I thought, oh, maybe we're up and running and maybe I can use this, or I missed something. But I've got one that we're ready to submit.
So the broker pages will take a little bit longer to get out to you because I got to build them one by one for each individual person. I need to know, like, do you want your name on it or do you want, your logo? So those things will take a little bit longer. In the meantime, Travis, if you've got a deal ready to go right now, you do not have to wait to send it over. Even if we haven't gotten the broker form signed out, we'll still take care of you in that way, right? The form is more of a formality that we have to do just to CYA because SEC and blah, 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 whatever, right? So what you can do is if you have all the details, you can email it over to us. I'll give you, it's the email address. I'll put it right here. It's office@alwayscapitalllc.com. And you just send us the details and we'll link that borrower back to you and get the quote out to them as quickly as possible.
And Travis, did you take the last class where I covered the requirements for each loan type? Told you everything you needed? Okay, cool. Yeah, just follow that list, and as long as you fill it out, we can quote off that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering what the best route was then because I was thinking I could just use the go in as the borrower and submit it that way, but I could just email it to you as well.
Yeah, email's fine. We'll send it back to you directly because it's send Bob's finishing up the tech here in the next day or two to make it all smoother and happier. But we're easy to deal with. You can just call me too. We'll figure it out.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
As long as we know that the loan came from you, Travis, or and this is for anybody, right? We'll make sure it gets back to you. Also, if you go to alwayscapitalllc.com, on the homepage there is Leah the loan bot, which is our AI bot for loan collection. So she'll go through and collect all the information that you need and then get it back off to us. Just all I ask for right now is obviously the bot's on our site, so it's going to attribute the lead to us, not to you guys. So just make sure to shoot an email either way and let us know, hey, so and so is from me, and that way we'll tag them to you. I know that there's a lot of brokers out there that, for lack of a better way to put this, they do shady shit, right? Like they want to cut you out. They want to basically keep it more for themselves. Brian and Mark and JJ and myself have been around long enough in this business to know that, first of all, it's the real estate investment business is unbelievably tiny. So if you get a bad name for yourself, it's not going to be long before you're kicked out. And number two, I want you to get paid because if you're getting paid, you're more likely to bring more people. We all win together. We all need money. We all want to do deals. We all want to grow. So yeah, we'll take care of you guys for sure. One other thing, once you sign up too, you'll get a link to a broker kit. The broker kit will contain emails that you can send, will contain Canva templates that you can download and post, and a bunch of other things that will help making promotion easier. Obviously, Brian's methodology is still great, but if you also want to be able to post things or you have an email list or you want to send emails to the folks on your list, you guys will have access to all of that. And we'll continually expand that library of content for you as we go.
Calvin Durham, you're on with Brian Fine and Bob McIntosh. What's your question?
Hey, how you doing, Brian? Bob, how you doing?
Fantastic,
Yes,
man.
yeah. So I have a question. So if you are you looking for a certain criteria from the borrowers or something like that? Because I lend in second position lending. So, and what me and my partner do, we get like a criteria list to get from the borrowers. So, is there like a certain list I can grab and then send it to that the office email?
Correct. That's covered in the second class. So if you go to
Okay.
alwayscapitalllc.com/broker, class
Mhm.
two, I cover all the different loan types and what information we need to quote each one
Gotcha.
and how
Okay,
we do
I'll go
that.
back to
So
that.
that's yep.
Hmm.
And we're a senior debt lender, so we're first position
Hmm.
on basically every deal. We'll do equity, not a second. But that is for someone we will only consider that with people we have a great relationship with. And our definition of a great relationship is we've completed and closed at least 10 transactions with you.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
so usually it takes a couple of years to get there, and then we'll happily have the conversation. But like Bob mentioned, we have no shortage of people who want our money, so we can we can afford to set some criteria around it.
And then
Okay.
Kelvin, and this is good for everyone to know too. I'm going to share my screen for a second. Once you guys' broker sites are up, it'll look something like this. They'll choose their loan type here. So let's say they say a fix and flip, right? And it will ask them for all the details. Or if you've collected it manually, like Brian talked about, and you can just come here and put the information in. So this way, no matter, and by the way, if you change this to like from fix and flip to fix and hold, right? You'll see it adds on like what's the rent and taxes, because now this information becomes more important. And so this way, you'll always know what information that we need to get you a quote as quickly as possible. But in that video, the second video that Brian referenced, he kind of walks through and talks about that as well. So I would highly recommend go there. You can watch the video when you get to the part where there, if you just want to screenshot it so you can have a list ready to go so you know what questions to ask until this is up and going, it's probably your best way to go about it.
Okay. Sounds good. I appreciate that.
Damian McCloskey out of New Jersey. Damian, you're on with Bob and Brian.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for the introduction, JJ. Um, yeah, so I have a question. So I used to do this for a better funding like 5 years ago, right? Just brokering loans and stuff. And that the crazy thing is, and what made me think of it is you mentioned this, but you sort of went over it really fast. But a lot of people, um, would come to me and they knew I was brokering loans, and sometimes they would just ask me for a proof of funds just so they could slide an offer through and get it signed. And I heard you mention about that too. So how are we how are brokers for Always Capital handling a proof of funds? If somebody says, I just want a proof of funds letter to get the contract signed, then they get it signed and then they come back with all the
Yep.
details.
So our term sheet, our quote, is actually a formal letter of interest, and so it acts as proof of funds, which is why we're just taking a cursory look. It's basically a pre-qualification, but that's why information like the FICO score and experience are not optional on any quote request. We have to know it, because when we put that out there, we're basically saying as long as the numbers we were told match up, we would be willing to close on this. So there is a degree of seriousness behind that. It's not you can get proof of funds letters that you just print off a PDF online. They're completely worthless. And anybody who's been an agent a bunch of years, you probably know all proof of funds are bullshit. All of them. Even if I showed you a bank statement from today with $10 million in it, there is nothing stopping me from transferring that cash out 10 seconds after I took the screenshot, right? So all proof of funds is a joke, but we try to put some validity behind it. And then making those quotes, when people need to get their offers out and things, for us, it's cost of doing business. Some of them are going to land, some of them aren't. That's okay. We might have to have a conversation with somebody if they, put out 100 of the things and not a single one of them moves forward. Might need to review their process a little bit, but in general, we're cool with doing it, and we treat them just as serious as every other deal.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes it seems like that's a lot of work. And the interesting thing too is that, when you're saying that like the proof of funds are bullshit, I would say maybe like 1 out of 100 of them, I would get like a call back. And it was always a real estate agent, representing it would just be the listing agent, on the other
Yep.
side. And they would, some of them, one of them really grilled me, like, how do you know this person? How long have you known this person? How many deals have you closed with them? And stuff like that. But yeah, basically a lot of people were just like tire kicking. And I would say like 1 out of 20 of the proof of funds that I sent out actually
Yep.
went down to either closed or almost closed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sounds
exactly.
about right.
And that's why, like, the way we just taught you guys to market is relationship based. We're not doing that because it's the fastest possible method. The fastest possible method is to post a bunch of stuff about how you lend money and send out a bunch of emails. It's also not very effective because there's a billion people doing that. You're screaming into a hurricane. Nobody can hear you and do anything. We're saying build a personal relationship. Get to know this person a minute. Hey, you're a new rehabber at a sub 2. You're trying to pick up your first deal. You're making a couple of offers. You're trying to get it right. Cool. I know who I'm dealing with. I can tell if they're serious, right? It's very different if I'm talking to somebody. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing a deal for the past like 5 years. Haven't really done anything yet. It's like, okay, maybe you're not as high of a priority unless you're going to get kind of serious. Why don't you come back to me after you got a PSA instead? So you can vet the relationship and how likely it is to move forward yourself. But what we look for, and I told this years ago in Fortune Builders when I first met Mark, I was on stage and he was in the back of the room, and it was a little bit of audacity. He was standing there with I'm a private lender T-shirt on, which that's a little bit of blood in a room full of sharks. So not exactly the brightest thing to be. So that's how I met Mark, and we got to talking, and I said, you're not looking for everybody in the room. You're looking for what we call a super borrower. We're looking for somebody who's going to build a business where they do deal after deal after deal after deal. I don't care if your average loan size, your average purchase price is $50,000. I do care if I'm only going to do one with you. If I'm going to do 25 of those in the next 2 or 3 years, then that's great. That's worth just as much to me as the $1 million developer. Works the same way. So you want to build those relationships and vet them, but you're essentially looking for the people who are serious and going to keep going. Deal after deal after deal.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. I'll actually say there's a lot of truth to that, building relationships. It's because the people that are marketing for deals, with stuff, because I built these relationships over like 5, 10, 15 years, a lot of people know me as the Philly guy, and they come to me with deals like left and right, and I do zero marketing, and all my deals just come from other people, either JVing or not wanting them and just giving it to me or whatever. Yeah, so there's a lot of validity in that. And I will say I was marketing it the wrong way because I would go on to like the Facebook group by Pace Morby, somebody looking for, and I'm like, yeah, better funding. Or if they wanted a proof of funds, I would just blindly offer them a proof of funds. Let me look at your deal. Not everybody blindly. I shouldn't say blindly, but I would quickly look at the deal, and if it was like, yeah, it's a deal, okay, I'll give you the proof of funds. And a lot of those
Yep.
uh didn't turn out. So
That's why I have a conversation with them first. That's how I figure out whether or not you're serious. And if you know what you're talking about, right? Like it's in 30
yeah.
seconds we can find out how competent they are at real estate. It's totally cool to be new and not know anything. If you're new, don't know anything, and trying to pretend you do, that can be problematic.
I want to add to that real quick, guys. We don't care about the borrower and like where they're at primarily. This is not to say that it's completely irrelevant and we won't look at it at all. But if they've got bad credit or low credit, they had a foreclosure, or they got something else going on in their life. Look, like I've been there. I've been down to $4 in my bank account and bounced back up again. Like we've all had different stages of life as entrepreneurs. It's just part of the journey. So we care less about what's happened in their past and more about what did they do, how are they handling it, and we can in most cases adjust the risk of a loan to quantify for anything that's going on. So finding those super borrowers, even if they're, even if not everything lines up perfectly, is going to be worth your time and energy to put in because they'll pay for themselves and all the other marketing that you do to get people in as we go. I did want to just take a quick question. There was a question about, can we do foreclosures or auction deals? And the short answer is yes, we can. However, a lot of times at auction deals, right, they want cash in hand at the close of auction, and that's not something that we can do. So when we close, we will send the money directly to the seller and at that, so you're not going to be like sitting there with a cashier's check ready to drop it off to buy the auction property. So we can't. However, if you have the cash to close an auction property and then you want to basically refinance it out to pull your money back out and borrow OPM, which is always a good idea in my opinion, that's absolutely something that we can do. And for foreclosures, generally speaking, yeah, we can work on those. Again, timing is always an issue, right? No matter what we do, we can't move faster than it's realistically about a couple weeks. Like, even if we push it, like if we really push it, we might be able to get things done in a week. But we got to have everything in line, all the paperwork, all your information. It's hard. So just keep in mind that you want to give yourself a couple weeks to be safe on any deal from the time that you need the money to when you actually request the money in, or from when your borrower comes in to request the money.
So, and this is it's actually foreclosures and auctions are a lot more complex than you'd think because every state treats it a little different. If they are in a foreclosure process and you can get a purchase sales agreement, many times the foreclosing lender will halt or pause the foreclosure process in order to allow the sale to go through because it's a much better game for them. And you can do just a straight up purchase. You don't need to do anything fancy. If it's already at auction, like Bob said, in most states you're going to need to close that in cash first, and then we can do something called a delayed purchase, which is we're allowed to do full due diligence and appraisals and all that, and then we can just place a clean lien and essentially pay off your cash and get you right in the game as if you bought it with us to begin with.
What is the timeline to have a quote?
We say 1 to 2 business days. Realistically, it's about 4 or 5 hours if you give us all the information.
Mr. Stephen Callboy, you are on with Brian Fine and Bob McIntosh.
I was wondering if you guys do commercial properties for lending
Yes.
on commercial properties.
Mhm.
How high can you go?
Infinite.
100,
Maybe not quite that high,
50
but
million.
Oh, that's perfect. That's actually right on the money.
Okay. So then I'm going to have a real specific question, though.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the LTVs on commercial are lower, not higher, than what you would see in single family. So depending on what you intend to do with it, you're looking at a 40 to 50% down payment.
Okay.
So my first question before I begin underwriting that, which is presumably going to take a while, it's going to be a lot of work, is where's your 75 mil? If you show me that, then I am
Yeah.
all in, and I promise I will drop what I'm doing and underwrite your deal.
Well, we're finishing the close on 128 unit this year. We
Mm-hmm.
took us 7 months from last year till this year. Our closing is going to be in February for 128 unit. It took me 7 months to get that deal locked in place
Mm-hmm.
and secure with the team. And we had to go after multiple investors and funders, and we don't want to go after so many investors and lenders this time. We want to
Yep.
narrow it down to like one or two, maybe three.
Yeah, we can do it. What you're doing? Is it a multifamily or a portfolio or multiple
We're doing
buildings?
the multifamily, and we're converting it with a rehab, and then we're also trying to make it 20% veteran status and affordable living.
Yep. Okay.
Because we have
Mm-hmm.
one guy that goes and buys all the foreclosures, and then we help move the people that lost their house into the multifamily
Yep.
and give them
Yep.
2 years to try and recover and help them out. So
Yeah.
it's a big process, and it takes
And
about 7 months to
where
lock the deal in place.
what state are you doing that in?
So this
Texas?
this next one's going to be, the last one was in Mississippi. This one's going to be in Texas,
Okay.
and we're
Yeah,
also
Nice.
looking to buy a storage facility.
we can do them. We can do them
Oh,
all.
cool.
The takeouts are easier. The construction stuff, you're going to find we can do them, but that's going to be different products. It's going to depend on
Yeah,
the scope pretty
it's a
heavily.
lot of work and a lot of effort to put into all this. It takes time.
Yeah, it's they're big deals. There's big
Hmm.
dollars, but the work climbs with them. So, but yeah, we
Yeah.
can totally handle that. Not a problem.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys. I appreciate every guys.
How much experience do you want before the borrower can borrow on their own deals?
The best answer is it depends. For single family type stuff, whether it's fix and flip or buy and hold, 0 is fine. That's not an issue. For larger transactions, big multifamilies, ground up construction, experience becomes kind of critical. And we're going to want to see you partner with somebody who knows what they're doing to get that done. So it's what kind of project you're doing. If you're trying to buy your first single family house, don't worry about it. It's super easy. You want to buy a $10 million apartment building as your first deal? We're going to ask for a few more bona fides on that.
Andrew had a question. He had a few investors buy mobile home parks. Do we finance mobile home parks?
So a mobile home is not real estate unless its VIN has been removed and it's on a permanent foundation on land that it owns. It's on a static parcel, at which point it becomes a single family house. Until then, it's a vehicle and thus not something we lend on.
We can usually do the parks themselves because the parks aren't the homes that are on the
That's
land.
true.
So
Yep.
that's okay. But the actual mobile homes, not as much. If you guys need a lender for mobile homes, just reach out and let us know. I have a couple of people I can refer you to that oftentimes do financing on mobile homes, but it's not through Always Capital or through us. It's through a separate process for the exact reason that Brian just talked about.
Yep, because it's not real estate. RV parks are fine. Something that's new, actually this week, I might have even mentioned on the last class that we couldn't do it. Something I actually have an answer for now. One of the most problematic things you guys bring us are the rooming houses, where you're going to put a bunch of people in individual rooms.
Like a pad splitter.
Yeah, you want to do that kind of stuff. From a lender standpoint, those are an absolute nightmare. The only way people are doing them is by lying. They are pretending that it's a long-term rental, and then after closing, they're changing the use of the property, which is a technical default, and the lender could call the loan due at any moment if they ever find out about it. So those can be problematic. We do potentially have an answer depending on where it's located. We have some credit union partners that are willing to do them. They are not operating in every single city and state in the country, so it does depend on where you're at. And you have to be able to survive a full doc underwriting process. So I hope you have nice personal financial statements and clean tax returns, because that is the ground floor requirement to do it. But we do have an answer, which we did not 2 weeks ago. The other thing that I would say we're not doing is raw land. So if you have the land with nothing on it and you don't intend to build anything on it, then that is also something we're not involved with. That's a different animal. If you want to buy the land and build something on it, whatever, I don't care what you want to build, as long as you're building something on it, and we're funding the entire ground up process, then yeah, that's a different animal.
Hey, JJ, thank you. We're adding 3 ADUs to an existing triplex, and
Okay.
I'm wondering at what point do we start seeking financing? Right now, it's still in the planning stage and waiting to be approved.
Basically, once you got your permits approved, it's time. In fact, once you're pretty sure your permits are approved, it's time. Get it rolling.
All right.
And then because we'll get the appraisal going, and it's a standard close. You'll be done in less than 30 days.
I just want to mention, I know we're close to wrapping up. We may get a couple more questions, but if some of you are on the call right now and are not in my networking group, which is the Always Capital REI Networking, and I'll do a very quick screen share of that particular group. This is a group where I teach networking. This is a group where we bring everyone together to learn the ins and outs of marketing yourself, of building your business, through building relationships. If you want to get into this group, please call me. I screen my group. I vet everybody that goes into the group. The group is about relationships. It's about networking. It's about your social media presence. It's about, are people seeing you the way in which you wish to be seen? Are you resonating with others? Are you actually building relationships? We teach this, we practice this in this group. If you're in this call, you're not yet in this group, we'd love to get you in this group. So please reach out to me. Again, my phone number is 818-683-4047. I would love to get everybody who is on this call that's not in the group to please join that group, which is probably a small amount of people.
I was curious, like, okay, what is, because I'm asking because I've dealt with this a little bit before. There's some that do pad splits, and like for instance, I know one individual, he does them for hospitals, so that either you can do it for nurses, and you call a company and they do that. They fill it. They were like ready, like let's go when I called for him, or he was also doing it for like if you're trying to recuperate from, you have cancer and you have to be near a hospital or whatever. He was doing that. But I called the hospital, like this place that they placed the nurses right there, traveling nurses, and they're like ready to go. Is that an okay thing, or am I just wasting time?
Nope. It has the same problem as any others. It's essentially a zoning violation, and it's what we call a change of use. If the property is zoned as a single family residence, it has to be used as a single family residence. You're explicitly not using it as a single family residence, and that's a problem. If you want to do this correctly and legally in the way that local governments would approve it, these are called hotels or motels. You would need it zoned for that, and then go ahead and build accordingly. And you can use things like a communal kitchen and all that. There's going to be rules depending on what state you're in. And then funding a hotel, no problem. That we can do. But if you want to take a single family house and put 10 people in it and then try to say that's a long-term rental, that's a real problem. And there's lots of local ordinances, lots of rules about it. I'll give you an example. There's certain zip codes here in Pittsburgh where if it is against zoning, it's a code violation to have more than 4 unrelated adults living in the same tax parcel. Can't do it.
Okay.
So that stuff is all very, very problematic. So I understand the appeal of the pad split. I know why everybody goes gaga over it. But if they don't want to pay cash for it, they're going to need to seriously consider the implications of what it looks like when it fails.
Travis, you have another question?
Yeah, Brian, are you able to share any of the states that have some potential for getting those co-living loans through?
Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida, Texas, California, and probably more. You just need to bring me one. And then I mean, we're not going to be interested in, well, I'm going to be more accurate. The credit unions are not going to be interested in doing these for extremely low dollar amounts. This is not a $100,000 or $200,000 deal. They're going to want to see these 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 or more. Just to get them to consider something like this is already going to annoy them. So they'll do it, but they're going to want to see enough meat on the bone to make it worth their time.
Any sense of the LTV requirements on that?
If they do it at all, they'll be 65 to 70. JJ, Bob, Mark, and myself, we consider this a long-term business. We're gonna be here for a really long time. So when I hear about people funding these things, we go find the lenders who did it. And there's only two ways it's happening. One of them is they're doing it privately with a completely private individual who doesn't have any outside requirements, and they're just cool with it. And the second way is they lie. They change it over. So they'll hang the extra doors after the appraisal or after the closing. And that's a technical default. We're not cool with that. And then you got all the local laws and ordinances too. From a macro market standpoint, the pad splitting rooming house thing is a response to the crash in prices of short-term rentals. In 2014 through 2017 or so, you could print money with an Airbnb. Those revenues have crashed more than 50%, and the expenses have done nothing more than gone up. So now, if you had a great Airbnb, you could very well be losing money on it. So in response to that, the people who are selling, you can overpay for real estate because you can use it as a short-term rental, needed a new line in order to keep with the same content. And the response to that was, okay, well, we'll just teach people to do rooming houses because now we can just buy a single family house and get everybody to pay us individually and we'll make a fortune. I will also guess that most of them don't own a bunch of rentals because for me, even the idea that I would have to do multiple evictions to clear one unit is horrifying. It's bad enough to have to do one, but to have a bunch of individuals, all separate cases I have to deal with, there's almost no amount of money you could pay me to do that. That's terrifying.
Steven, you're up. Steven, you're on Brian and Bob.
The other question I had is, do you guys fund franchises and actual businesses that have been in the market for 5 years that's selling, that show stability and customer and constant customers, not constant customers, businesses that have been around for more than 5 years?
We won't fund the business. We'll fund the real estate and treat the underlying business as a tenant for the purpose of the debt coverage ratio.
Okay, so the same thing goes for franchises too?
Yeah, it makes no difference to me because it's still I'm going to get a tax parcel. Yeah, and it makes X amount of money versus its expenses. That's its debt coverage ratio.
Okay.
Same as any other commercial tenant.
Okay. Then the other part of that question too is, and I don't know if you can share this information or not, but if, say, we had a nonprofit, do you guys have access to hedge funds or basically family offices that will do a nonprofit organization?
There's nothing preventing any debt lender from doing a nonprofit.
Okay, I'm just curious. That's all.
Yeah,
I was looking into the hedge funds and the family offices that do the nonprofits.
Yeah, some have it as a specific mandate, but there's nothing preventing a nonprofit from using. About the only difference would be for everybody else, the interest you pay is a tax deduction. For a nonprofit, well, they don't pay taxes anyway, so they don't really care. But otherwise, the numbers are exactly the same. It makes no difference to us at all.
Okay,
but again, for the real estate that the nonprofit would be doing, not necessarily for the nonprofit, like not for operating expenses or things of that nature.
Yeah. Yep.
Just to help get, because no matter what nonprofit or not, it still costs money to get something started. Once it's started, I can apply for everything else, but it's the startup that sometimes costs a little extra to get going.
Now, a thing that you can do, and we generally encourage across the board, is you cross-collateralize. So if you want to do stuff, that basically we would just say no to, cool. Have some assets somewhere else and just refi them. I'm going to give you a check, and I'm not even going to ask you what you're doing with it. I don't care.
That's worse. So that's why I go after multifamily.
Yeah, that's how if you don't like the rules that we force that deal to play by, like this is the only way we would fund it, the only way we'd look at it, cool, give us something else that we can be okay with.
Okay.
And we'll fund based on that. Instead, I won't even ask about your deal. I don't care what you're doing with the money. Not my problem.
Well, even still, thank you guys for doing all this. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on. And by the way, for all of you who know people, other folks, right? If you follow JJ's teachings and you're out there networking and whatever, have them connect in. We conduct 4+ live trainings every single week like this on not just brokering, but other things too. And so, our goal is to provide you guys with all the resources you need to succeed, because the more that you succeed, the more you need money, the more you need money, the more you're going to come to us. So it's a win-win for everyone in the book. So yeah, so if you got other people that bring them in, have them introduced to JJ. He vets everyone in the groups very well, and we try to get everyone to the right group that's going to fit what they're doing in their business. But happy to meet each and every one of you guys today and roll through all this stuff. And can we give a little round of applause to JJ for hosting this bad thing and helping getting it all going?
Right. And again, thank you so much to everybody that's participated on the call today. We'll end the call shortly, and then I want to speak to the group as we continue to move along. But Bob and Brian, if we've covered everything, then we can just about wrap up the recording for today. Is that right?
That's right. And this is we will probably repeat this series, but I think the recordings do pretty good justice to it. So these three classes pretty much encompass initially what we have to teach you guys about being successful with the broker business.
On Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday are my calls. On Thursdays, Bob, Brian, and Mark are going to alternate speaking on different topics. We may have other speakers speak on Thursdays as well. And for those of you that wish to participate in the lending group, Wednesdays will be our calls, such as today, exclusively for the lending group. So again, if you guys are on the call right now, you're not getting in the lending group, please text me because I can add you quickly from my phone, send you an invitation to the group, and then I will then send you the link once you have conveyed to me that yes, you wish to be in the group, and we'll speak voice to voice because again, I'm vetting everything. I need to know you, you need to get to know me. We need to have a relationship, and when we have a relationship, I'm introducing you to Bob, Brian, and Mark.